Joel, I asked you this question, but now if it's not marked as a speed limit 55, they try to tell me the truck is 40.
Right. The statute, Illinois, everything within the city limit, the automatic speed limit is 30, which is not marked. And in a county or outside of corporate limit, it's 55.
Okay, and the Country Club Road is still not a truck route, is that correct?
It's not a truck route, but
Still not all of them?
I just don't really know what the law allows and doesn't allow. Just because it's not a truck route doesn't mean the truck can't be on it. It's not a route. It's not a truck route. And I don't understand that. I've actually emailed somebody with the DOT asking that question, and they don't even email back. I guess they don't know either. There is a sheet that IDOT puts out that tells you the rules of what can be on different kind of roads. And it's on a local road, rural local road. It's not a truck route. There can still be trucks. It's just have a limitation as to the length. The total length of the truck, and I guess we'll decide it over weight road.
But that's 80,000 road is,
Everything is. Yeah. We don't have a road that's, unless it's marked. The only road that I know of that we have a weight limit on is the upper bypass. And I don't know how that got established, but
neighbors. So, like, he came about the truck's going through there.
well, I mean, legally speaking, though, I think you have to have some kind of engineering study done to be able to put a weight limit on the road. But we can pass on how that was done, or if you just put a sign out there.
I really don't know how they did it. I think they did that when I was here. Last year, didn't I? Joe, that Carson Lane, it's in pretty good shape, but down there, the bottom of that hill, I get water stuff to the front end. Really
On the gravel part of it?
yeah, just top. It's great, and I think all it might be there.
That would be a good time if it does need some material. We're a haul in some places. I think a couple of guys have gone down to the bottoms today because that is just unbelievably bad down there. Because all the water is so long. Yeah, I mean, there's mud caked on the road about that thick in places. I went down there last week and had to spend about an hour and a half spraying my truck off after I got back because it was so bad.
Did you get there?
Sketchy and what's going on. I had put in four-wheel drive and I was still sliding off the road. That mud down here is different than I've ever seen anything. It's like a slimy glue.
Yeah.
Slick as can be, and when it takes something over, it doesn't leave. It's got some good glue properties.
That's on the road in the county that we get
put red gravel and use red gravel on a lot of those.
Still,
I haven't in a few years. Last time we did it was,
so far as going, now, no tips or anything.
well, last time we got some, we got it from Father Jeffrey's kid.
Good
And,
record.
and we put it, I forget where we hauled that. I know we put some on Pine Forest Road. We put some on, we did put some on the road down
Yeah.
that little road that's ours that goes back there towards Mike Clark's house and off the road run way up in the,
Oh, yeah.
we put some red gravel on there. I don't like to use it, to be honest with you, just to,
Well, go as west as the ditch down there, and the pit go was that dirt to begin with. Once it was that off, like the bullet, and put some hot rock in there, right
in the bottom of the
there. Like some pull around and sleeping in a field back.
well, probably wouldn't hurt things. The only bad part about it is like when it floods like this and carry a bunch of mud on the road, you have to scrape it off or scrape it off and it's not hard on the road. I mean, it's just a continual nightmare dealing with the road down when it floods like that. That was one of the things I had on the list to talk to y'all about this morning is, I've got to go to a meeting tomorrow with the King Cave Mounds crew at the visitor center over there. They called me again. They got a meeting scheduled for tomorrow. So
Up there, right at the place.
at the visitor center at the Fort Massac.
Oh, yeah.
So you won't be a meeting, you'll be go there with you.
If you'd like to, yeah. I mean, because
What time is it?
Is that noon? At the visitor center. I mean, they've asked me to give them a price or whatever for and chipping the rest of that down there on New Cut that goes down to the mountains, which is about a mile. It's just a little less than a mile, about 9/10 of a mile. I've done some checking into what it's going to cost them and what it's going to cost us, and it's a significant amount of money. So,
Well, will it stay on, that gets underwater part of it.
It's been underwater for 3 weeks. So it's
it
really water.
was underwater for more like 8 weeks.
Yeah, 8 weeks, so it's kind of good.
No, and that's the problem. It's just, it disintegrates down there. Not all of it does, but the very first part when you come off the Unionville Road until you get to basically the big open field, it falls apart some, but it stays together decent in that area. When you get down to the lower part of that, it just seems like it falls apart on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
And to commit to keeping that up is just tremendously expensive thing for us as far as the road district. So I really don't know what we can do or how we can do it. I don't necessarily mind pulling and chipping it for them, but at the same time, they're almost going to have to understand that it's going to have to be a one-time thing, and we can't just continue to be putting thousands and thousands of dollars keeping it up because.
Well, do you know where that bridge, on Mount Starving south, where that bridge is, that concrete bridge is? And they got filled up with gravel, so that the combines and all over it.
Yeah, the first one down below Giant.
Yeah.
No, you're talking about the one right in line with
Wall Lake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're going over that and then you go on, right along the river there pretty well. Is that kind of road also?
There's a couple of different roads down there that are our road. Yeah. The main one is our road, and then there's one that shoots off towards Loon Lake that's ours for a pretty good ways. And then there's another one past that shoots off towards, I think, Howard Lake a little bit. It's a good, pretty decent section of that's ours too. We we did put some red gravel, excuse me, on that one that down the Loon Lake several years back, but we don't do a whole lot of, I mean, we grade it and stuff, but we
Yeah.
don't do a whole lot more than that. I can tell you how the meeting goes with the people tomorrow, or everything.
I actually, you and I spoke about that before. I got it.
With the mountain group, I don't know their official name. It all been, I guess it's kind of like I don't even know what you'd call it.
Alright, you think over that,
The lady that talks to me, her name is Sugar Richard. I don't know actually who's on that board. The board that takes care of the mountains and takes care of the platform and parking area down there and tries to get people to visit down there and maybe does some things with grants to get money to keep that up and everything. That's what they do.
Bill, you've been by that light up in the motor garden. Yeah, I think on that side.
Yeah, but there's a hole underneath that spillway. You can put a dump truck in it. So that's why they put that yellow tape out there. The Rosalie said is in charge of that. She's contacted me several times and tried to get it in the ice and doing that stuff. She said somebody on their board is an attorney and they thought about putting fence or something around it, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that'd be a pretty good idea. There really shouldn't be anybody walking over there, but at the same time, you can't prevent somebody from walking there. And so, yeah, so they put that tape up around that corner. I suggested they do that. Well, it's not really that thing might cave in or something like that, but it's really not going much of anywhere. I mean, they're falling in the hole. There's a big hole in there. The whole levee needs to be repaired and replaced, and
What that needs to be dug out and put the body back in there or something.
and I told her, I said, that concrete spillway deal is a bad idea. No matter how you look at it, I told them if you would fix the levee part with clay and keep it back in the way and all that, I would honestly put fabric and riprap over it. Kind of like, I don't know if you've been by PI where Drew Quint did that whole work along that same thing happened there. That levee busted in that little pond and it was almost dry and the tree was working all over the place. So we went in there and fixed all that for the PI.
Looks good.
Cost a lot, that was really good. Cost a lot of money though. Like, I'm afraid the cemetery don't have that kind of money.
No, that's one problem. Actually, you know, now, but it's kind of like that, it's about 30 big.
No, it's not very big.
Sitting back from the east side, but it's got water. So we cleaned that out 20 years ago. I took it over and shoved it out and I loaded it and took it out back. But that's as far as I can get the rest of that water. We need a lot of stuff done to it. She called and I gave her a bid last time on it. That never happened. Now she's called back.
She must not be related to mine. She's pretty nice. Anyway, speaking of Robert, I did get a letter from him, and he, of course, he went through saying stuff in his letter for me. He does on the phone, but I got the letter here if anybody wants to read it. But anyway, I'm writing the letter back, and from what we discussed last time, he said that the gate cost him $80, and that's what he said he wanted, so, I do have a check in there written to him for $80. So I don't necessarily think we have to vote on it.
That'd be a problem with that.
I don't know if we actually voted because we all decided on that. But this is a copy of the letter I'm sending him, and a copy of his letter, so I'll just leave it here if any of y'all want to read it and like our own floor or something. Go ahead and do it. It'll be entertaining. But, you know, I made a lot of pictures. He still claims in his letter that we have never taken care of Bacchus Road properly, that there's not enough rock on it. He's asked us for 37 years to do it properly, and we've never done it right. We don't grade it on a regular basis. Well, I've also taken a lot of pictures of Bacchus Road. That is the road as it sits today. That's not enough rock. This is how it's set in 2018. That's how it's set in 2016. So I've only been taking pictures for the last couple of years because I've been 100% realizing what a problem he was when I first started here. But I've got pictures for the last 3 years. And of the condition of the road. There's no gravel road in the county but I say, and I told him in that letter, and I said, this road is in probably the top 20% of our condition of all the gravel roads that we've got. So,
What is that?
it's on that letter. I can't remember how far it is. And another thing I put in that letter, and this is okay with everyone, the road itself, Bacchus Road, goes from Briarwood back a certain distance, and then it has a 90-degree turn. And it goes to the right. It goes north-south for a certain distance, the major distance, and then it goes east-west for like a tenth of a mile or something like that. And 0.12 miles. And that little section that goes east-west, that's the section that he was complaining to you all about and complaining to me about that we didn't grade it all. That's the section we didn't grade because there's nowhere to turn around down there with the grade. And we would go down there if it was really bad and try to figure out somewhere to get back out of there or something, but it didn't look bad, so we didn't go down there. And we don't want to really cause up and stir and mess up the road if it's not really that bad to begin with. And this is a picture of that section right here. And as you see, it doesn't really look that bad. I know you can't see all the way down here, but from what I saw, it doesn't look that bad. Anyway, I told him in that letter that we could close that section of the road. I mean, we could just keep the part that goes north-south to that 90-degree curve because that's the part that the Sharp family, they own that property on the east side of the road at the end of that curve, where that curve is, and that's where they need access to it, back there. So that other section, I told him that we would close that section. He's okay. It's okay with everybody else. I'm just going to go ahead and proceed with trying to do that and close that section and hand it over to him. That way you don't have to worry about grading that section anymore. We still need a good turnaround there at the end where
you can have a section intersection,
yeah. I know I'm jumping all over the place on this issue, but this is one of the roads that we've been putting rock on this year, and you see the difference between what Bacchus Road looks like and what this road looks like with the mud coming through. I mean, this is what we try to have our attention to whenever we're trying to put rock on roads that look like this or that are similar to this, not roads that look like this. So we're not going to just go out there and put rock on a road that looks like this when we've got roads all over the place that look like this.
I mean, you talk about putting that tank out in four-wheel drive, well, I can't see that road up at all.
No, I It's hard to believe anything that comes out of his mouth. I know he believes what's coming out of his mouth, but I haven't seen it. I think that's the thing that I can ask y'all. I talked about maybe trying to bid out a new dump truck this year. And I've been trying to wait on the state to come out with their state bid to see what kind of pricing you can get through the state, but it has yet to come out. So I thought about proceeding with our own specifications and just going ahead and letting, trying to get a bid rate set and letting some of the truck dealers look at what we want and try to bid without the same price. It's going to take a while to get one, but from what I understand, whenever you build a truck out, there's nothing hardly standard. They have to build it, and it takes anywhere between 9 months and a year to get it after you actually order it. So even if we bid one out like June, we're looking at June or May, or sometime spring 2020 before we would get it.
What's the difference in one that you buy over there and one that has all that stuff?
Because you're looking at it.
I don't know. I mean, I've thought about keeping it open and making a set of specifications of, engine size, type of transmission, that kind of thing is what we want as far as the bed dimensions. The difference, I think it's had a lot of differences in there. Yeah, axles, ratings, and springs.
The ones you buy over there, they're buying 99.
Engine horsepower. And of course, you got a big specification on what kind of hydraulic system you put on it, and whether it operates plows and spreaders and all that kind of stuff. Light packages, it has old lights and all that stuff on it. I don't quite understand the dump truck market and how they don't actually just have a standard model and then just tweak things here and there, but it doesn't seem like they do. It seems like everything is you have to almost specify everything.
So we had a brand new pretty red one down at that Calvert City sitting on the hill, so. We had a tag or whatever.
It's kind of good in Western style.
Right.
No, it's handled. I think it's really good to start.
They're right on the inside.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the ones I believe I always wanted to get our specifications to, so I could bid on it then, and maybe.
So it's Friday, we went home for the day. Stopped to look at some trailers and say.
That one,
No, I didn't even know how long they made it, but I know.
I don't think they
I think it's freight line.
They do freight liner.
I think it was freight. I think get close up to it. It's $650,000, or at least. Yeah.
That's just having everybody. They just buy them.
Yeah.
I said, they're at the bottom.
It's different. Thing is, what we're going to work on. And it's so illegal. It's hard. It does happen. It's hard.
As of last week, ET signed they were planning on starting our paving job on Grand Thing Road in May City. I can't say that's 100% because they've got another job that they're on and they gotta get that one done before they get down here. So there may be another delay, but as of right now, we're planning on starting it done next week sometime.
If they got the rock on the road out there, if they got all that digging done and all,
I haven't been able to see it myself on Matt, he said that they got that hole dug up underneath the bridge and we're putting rock back in it, but
I know a friend of mine, I think they're making a crosswalk up on I, you know, go down the street.
right. And that is about, oh, one other thing was that, I don't know if you all, I saw it on your agenda, I didn't know if you were back for it or stay for that sewer ordinance discussion.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of information off on it, but I did look at it.
Or you already have it.
I have one copy of it. Maybe some time on our
That's what I'm used to.
It's quieter than my house.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's quieter than that. But for sure it is.
I guess, you know, Don Oldmark's telling me that, the milk now are a whole lot more involved and the farmers. Is that what we're voting on and looking at? The ordinance?
Yeah, well, they came up with a new ordinance and they're having tighter restrictions on
Yeah.
the installers. They've got to actually be state certified.
Yeah. What he was telling me.
And they have to, in order to be state certified, they have to take a test of some sort.
Yeah.
And pass that before they can be state certified. I mean, there's just a small part of that has to deal with how it affects the highway department, but as far as an ordinance is concerned, I mean,
Or you really,
I did read through it, you know, I mean, it seems okay.
I mean, what about discharging in county?
You need to?
They say that you can't do it.
No, it's
You see how Johnson Road is being done every day.
specifically prohibited, and you're supposed to be 25 feet away from any property line
Yeah.
with the discharge.
Yeah.
Whether that's coming from a septic tank or an aerated system or whatever it is, you have to be a minimum of 25 feet.
I'm in a wastewater treatment facility.
Even a wastewater treatment facility.
I don't like the septic tank. You can't do discharge it above ground, can you?
I don't think so, no.
But not there,
In order to actually discharge to the surface of the ground, it's supposed to be a treat, an aerated treat,
Yeah.
but it also has to have an active chlorinator on it. It's chlorinating the water, disinfecting it, which I can't prove it, and I can't guarantee it, but I would assume that 95% of all the aerated systems in the county that had a chlorinator at one time, probably they're not operating now, and they don't put chlorine tablets in them.
No. I say you're right.
You're spot on there.
So, there's
Regardless what kind it is.
part of the ordinance that kind of affects us is, yeah, that discharge, and then the complaint part of the ordinance. I mean, from my understanding and talking with the, I don't even know what you call it,
Director, maybe?
direct, yeah, I don't know if she's a direct sanitation
Yeah.
person, whatever, the health department. I mean, in order for them to do anything that is done illegally, supposedly they want or need a formal written complaint from someone. It could be a resident, it could be you, it could be me, but
About this.
I don't know if anyone, I mean, for a guy like me to start filing formal complaints on individuals, it'd be a problem. I mean, I don't know that it's really my best interest to do that, or in your best interest for me to do that. Just because there's so many of them, and if we start turning people in, you know, and then they have to spend thousands of dollars on retrofitting their system, and they'll blame it on, and I kind of have a sneaking suspicion that they're probably not too keen on being, you know, keeping your privacy about saying, you know, they're going to say, oh yeah, old Joe Schmo, he's the one that turned me in.
Yeah.
You know, so.
You got a whole county full of fans.
Yeah, I really got a lot of fans. I mean, I really want to make some other friends. I mean, that's the way to do it. But, you know, the other thing about it is, Gerald, you probably know as well as I do. I mean, I can sit here and write 1,000 letters on the terms of the same thing. Yeah. I'd have to go out and look for them, actually. Regardless of that part of it, I mean, the ordinance is a good ordinance. It's not, I don't think there's anything bad in the ordinance that would hurt anybody.
And you still put in septic tank?
They don't, yeah, they just say that you have to meet the code in here. It's, they have to put in a private sewage disposal system in accordance with 225 ILCS 225/4, whatever that is. I mean, I'd assume that includes the septic system, and that includes aerated systems or whatever else that I have in that code. I mean, the thing about our county is we're actually, I guess, dependent on Southern Seven to govern this. So I guess Southern Seven is basically just wanting us to pass this ordinance on their behalf so they have something to govern by.
Yeah.
If we had our own, you know, zoning department, planning department, whatever the kind of department that would actually have this, it would need something similar to this too. So I understand why they want it and why they want it updated so that they can have a little bit more requirements that will benefit everybody in the public. So in my opinion, this is a good ordinance, but I'm just giving my opinion on it. I know it's making a little bit more requirements on installers and people that do work on them and things of that nature.
I think on page 4, at the bottom, under 4.5. Is that a minimum lot size of 1 acre?
Yeah, for new systems, it says, you know, a new lot being cut out, it should be 1 acre. But then it has a big caveat here at the end about granting a smaller lot of variance, and it doesn't really spell out the requirements for the variance. It says at the very end there, the variance may be granted if, in the opinion of the health department, it is impractical or impossible to comply with the sewage code and approved system can be installed and does not create both health hazards or nuisance conditions. Which,
So, you know, in some subdivisions or areas, it might be like 0.66, you know, lot or 0.78 or something like that. So, what they're saying is they would work with the developer on that.
right.
I just want to make sure that was clear.
Yeah, that gives them an out there to be able to get an approved system installed there.
Okay.
But I guess in reading this, it's completely up to Southern Seven's discretion as to whether they think it's not going to cause a health hazard or nuisance.
And that 4.6 is the issue that we talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, that, it spells it out right there, 25 feet, and having a chlorinator and everything, but it's also
the distance requirements was in this table on page 3 as well.
Michelle, I forgot to make you copies on it.
Okay. I mean, I've got calls in the past on these discharges being a nuisance because they're going to the road ditch, but I've also got calls, that there's one of these systems in somebody's backyard that just installs, that discharges to the backyard or the side yard of another lot, and they called me on it. And it's like, look, I can't do anything about it because it's not on the road, I don't really have any jurisdiction over it, you have to call the health department, because they're the ones that regulate and govern these.
Well, I don't think they know what to do. Sometimes I don't think there's anything to do. Now, was you told meetings we had up there, and that face runner there, and me and the mayor, and I think we had some wheels down from Springfield maybe, and that, about Barterville. They got a big mess out there. So, all of them on the ground. I campaigned out there the first year, you can't walk across the backyard, you gotta walk back the street. Across the street differently. Well, they said, well, we didn't accomplish a whole lot, we had another meeting in 60 or 90 days, where it was. It's been about 5 years ago. And never done nothing. So, well, the only answer is put in the sewer system. And who do you pay for? So, I mean, the answer is to get the city to run out there and put that system.
I don't know where the closest line is. They would just have to get back in tap fees and monthly fees, the utility. But yeah, they would have to front the money, to do actual infrastructure. I wasn't part of those meetings, so I know what you're saying. I mean, in addition to that, it's pretty similar out there in Gallagher. I mean,
Yeah.
just about every single house discharges to a ditch or the road ditch, and it's just it's an absolute mess out there.
I don't know what those blocks maybe have back to the left.
I don't know. Yeah,
There's no room for them.
I mean, I have to say this, the lady that I met with on this ordinance, the one that's supposedly in charge of 7-7 right now, it seems like she's a little bit more active and cares a little bit more about following rules and laws and making sure
She's
that
from
things.
college down there, is that what her office is?
I don't know where her office is. I don't think I have a business card of hers, but she has emailed me a few times. I don't know that things are going to. That's one of the reasons why she's on this new ordinance, because I think she's wanting to be a little bit more proactive than what the health department has in the past.
Yeah.
On making sure that
Well,
there isn't health hazards like this out in the general public.
first thing the health department out here did is they have one man that you never know one thing, you never know when he's going to be there. And he's not there today. So you gotta actually make an appointment. They gotta call him and say when he's coming and, just a hassle.
Yeah, her office is at the campus there. Charlie BJ Newberry, Director of Environmental Health and Emergency Preparedness of the city.
Well, I guess we'll put on the agenda for next week to vote on it.
Y'all have to read it home and go over it.
They're in that one stack of wood, Gerald.
Oh, sorry. Let's see. Softball game too last night. I think they lost. I did they lose? Send you all one. Congratulations. 17.
So you want these back?
Yeah.
I got these things.
Probably 7 of them or something like that.
That might be. Thank you, Joe. Later.
I got some. Watch that chair go down a little bit.
I put a little weight on it.
Yeah. No. Does that to anybody?
Good morning. I would like to take just a few minutes and discuss some activities that I've been participating in over at Brookport and the rural area surrounding Brookport. Most of you probably recall that I represented the Massac Metropolis Port District for several, actually 4 years, I believe. And that contract with the Port District terminated in March of last year. And since that time, at Scott Garrett and the mayor's request, I've been trying to look for some opportunities for the village of Brookport and the surrounding area. I have been just working pro bono. I have not been reimbursed. I was compensated for the services that I've provided. One of the first things that I was asked to look at and have done considerable work on is the existence of underground storage tanks and seeing if there's money still available in the leaky underground storage tank budget to take care of that problem. I think we've identified 4 underground storage tanks that have not been addressed. Some have already been addressed. I understand that there was a number of service stations in the village of Brookport at one time before Interstate 24.
12 of them.
I think there were 15 is what I was told. So I'm sure that there's areas yet that we haven't identified, but what I had hoped to do for this, for the community is write grants that would provide funding under brownfield legislation. And brownfield legislation was expanded significantly last year, and actually falls under three categories. One is the inventory or the identification of brownfield sites. The second is environmental evaluation of those sites to determine if there's anything of significance there of a contamination or pollution basis. And then thirdly, there's monies available for actually executing the work and cleaning up these properties and getting them back on tax roll and making them contributory to the local economy. The first phase of it, the inventory, we probably are less than 10% of the properties that we've looked at. Again, the village has no money to pay for my efforts, and I knew that going in, that hopefully we'd be able to qualify for some of these grants, and then I could get compensated for the work that I had done on it. In fact, the city or the village of Brookport has a leverage agreement, a grant agreement, which provides a leverage with the Delta Regional Authority that they're struggling with. I think they need about $45,000 to cover their portion of that agreement. So I'm sure it's no surprise to anyone that there's just no funds that are available to do this, to do the cleanup or even identify the properties. What I proposed to the mayor, and I apologize for her not being able to be here today. I fully expected to have her here as well as Sue Sandusky was going to come. And both of them had other business to tend to, and wasn't convenient for them to be here today. But when I was with the Port District, or representing the Port District, I on more than one occasion tried to get money through the PACO. Are you familiar with the Paducah area community reuse program or organization? I understand that it was set up on a county basis. There were representatives of the executive committee of PACO. There were 4 counties in Kentucky, Murray State, and then the Western Kentucky Technical College was included in the PACO. And Massac County was the only county in Illinois that was included in the program. Long and short, the decommissioning of the gas distribution plant, there's a lot of surplus equipment, a lot of surplus other assets that have been sold off, and they're in the process of demolition there. And these surplus equipment and so forth is sold off, and that's how PACO is funded, is through the sale of that equipment. The last time I checked, they had about $85,000 in the income. I understand that Metropolis has benefited from it at least once in the past. The representatives from Massac County, Mayor Billy and Mrs. Barfield. Mrs. Barfield is actually the Secretary Treasurer for the PACO organization. Any request for funds has to go through them, where they take that. The representative of the county will take the petition or the request to the board for consideration. I know that the mayor of Brookport is very busy. She has other duties and responsibilities, and she just does not feel like she's capable of carrying this torch, as far as requesting the money. And I don't know exactly what the procedure is, for the request, other than it needs to come from the representative of the respective, county. I would like to see at least a $15,000 request submitted on behalf of Brookport, for the purpose of writing grants, and there will be 3 grants. One for the investigation, a grant for, the, environmental engineer study, and then a grant for the actual cleanup. So once those grants are approved, we would be able to reimburse PACO, if we could put the money back into PACO from the grant money. So that's the long and short. If you have any questions, I did make some copies of some literature that's on the internet regarding. And also, I made a list of a copy of the officers, the executive committee, and the counties that were included in the program. I'm prepared to, if it has to be a written request, and I'm sure it does have to be in writing and describe exactly how the money would be spent and how the community would benefit from it, or the county would benefit from it. And I'm certainly willing to write that request on behalf of the county and on behalf of the Brookport village. So, any questions?
Have you talked to Sue Barfield or Billy Camus?
I've talked to Billy in the past when I was representing the Port District. We tried to get Billy to approach the board for a modest disbursement from the funds. And at the time, he said that he was, excuse me. He's indicated that he felt like that we should look elsewhere as a source of revenue for the Port District. In as much as the metropolis, the city itself had benefited from the PACO. I believe they got money for one of the buildings out in the industrial park. I have not talked to Mrs. Barfield. I did think that there was a lot of opportunity for Brookport. You're probably aware of the dollar store that is going in there at the library at the last minute. They found an underground storage tank at that site. So it really needs to be cleaned up. Not just underground storage tanks, but there's properties that are blind properties that qualify for brownfield as well. Just so not just industrial sites that are contaminated, but blighted properties qualify as well.
They're gonna get the grant, is that gonna be your primary focus, that location across from the funeral home?
Yes.
Who's the developer, maybe owns that property currently?
I don't know the name. I know that the person who owns it claims that they're going to clean it up and repaint it.
Are they from Kentucky? That's, that owns the swimming pool.
What's the name?
They own the pool store, used to own most of the equipment.
Oh,
Joe, what's his last name? I know the guy.
I think there's a Reed from Paducah that owns some property that are suspicious. We have to be careful in the investigation, not to cause problems. So we've been very discreet, and we've tried to narrow our scope to just the commissioners or the council members and the mayor. We haven't gone out and quizzed people as to what might have been on our property, or whether they accept even ownership of it. There's several properties that were on the tax rolls this year that had been abandoned or were no longer, they couldn't find the owners.
So what you're asking us to do is, you want to provide us a letter, or
I will.
you want to ask us to formally ask this board for some?
I'll write a letter for the mayor's signature and to the board requesting
In the meantime, we can talk to Sue. Not saying we would do it or not, but something we can do.
Appreciate it. Thank you again for the opportunity. I hope we can do something with it. As I'm sure you're aware, the Lockett Dam is going to eventually be considered surplus to the Army Corps. And they're going to be taking soliciting offers for that facility. And we'd like to get this done, or at least get the ball rolling before that occurs, so that we can prove to the Army Corps that the village or the port district is buying for that property as well. We'd like to see it go to an organization locally that can dress it up and make it an attraction.
You're not on the port district anymore.
No. In fact, I think they're just meeting quarterly now.
Well, you know that property is gone. On county line. I understood that the EPA had told them that they would fence off parts of the most contaminated, well, the railroad sold the rest. Is that still not? What's the
We
problem?
could never agree with the railroad on the value of the property. They had an appraisal done, but the comparables in the appraisal, the properties that they compared it to were ridiculous. They were industrial properties that were right on the interstate. And they initially, the Union Pacific Railroad priced that property at about $3,500 an acre. And when you really get down to the bottom line, there's even if it's fenced off and you have access to just the uncontaminated, because of the way it's cut up, and there is a stream that crosses that property that the Army Corps did not let you disturb. You really get down to what they believe is 149 acres. You get about 30 acres of statutory use. So, that, we just never was able to negotiate a deal with the road. I understand that Electric Energy, or the new owners of Electric Energy, are extending the track now, their rail from Portland Road south toward that property. But they intend to use that for parking cars.
Yeah, that's run it down there and get an island fall off the bars and put them
Yeah, it's really, it needs to be cleaned up. Not just the contaminated portion, but that portion that's not contaminated is an attractive nuisance. There's a lot of things that go on there. Someone, the railroad's gonna eventually take a lot of it. Okay, thanks again.
Thank you.
One more thing. Still bring some more walking. Installation of the 911. I think the first month, and I'd like to see you guys promote Chad Taylor to that.
All right. You can put on the agenda for next week, do that. I'm sure the 911 board, they can fix it.
Just have somebody else. Chad said he wants to. So. Thanks, guys. That's good.
Bye.
So we got what, 88,000, 89,000 left after payroll? That doesn't include highway department reimbursements. does it?
Not yet. And I think that's around 23,000.
Right, so that put us over 100 grand.
Yeah, a little
Anything to report on with the treasurer's office?
bit.
Sure.
Yeah,
Everything going good?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. How long is Jody out of town for training?
She'll be back, well, till next week, but then I think we're supposed to be closed 4 days.
4 days.
That's what they said. But
Taking
they-
4 days to go through those portions of your room.
That's what they
Okay.
said. That's what they said, how many days they needed.
All right. I guess we'll talk to him today and get it figured out then.
Okay. Sounds good.
Or y'all have like someone somewhere in the building in case there needs to be a question answered for the treasurer's office.
I don't know who that's.
How are y'all doing? Is anyone here for anything? No report, nothing?
No.
Nothing.
We let everybody know that,
Okay.
I mean, Gary can answer most of the tax questions or treasurer's office.
Okay.
Recording, most of the offices know that we're not gonna be here. So,
All right.
I have no idea other than that.
I guess we'll talk about it.
Okay.
you do too.
Looking at it right now.
I think they're okay.
Looking good.
One thing, I just want to make sure, on the Superman celebration, they can use the annex building, but on that Thursday, they will not be able to use the courtroom downstairs. Josh and Court, on that, which I think that was the understanding. Just want to make sure they understood that Thursday they cannot. On that Friday, more than likely they can, but there'll probably be court on Thursday. But I think they was going to use that large room upstairs anyway on Thursday, which would be fine. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
So,
no, they met when I could see.
When you're here for
So
that.
she wrote it down.
That's totally,
Now,
we were both looking over it.
That's on the second page, there's two that's highlighted yellow.
Yeah.
The top one should be right beside it, that comes out of the drug fund. That's the scholarship money that we're sending to Springfield. So we need that one as soon as we get it along with that card. That's the fund that comes out of the drug fund.
After I talked to you yesterday, I emailed everyone, I think we're good at 1650, right? So hopefully today.
Okay. We'll do tomorrow, the version two.
Anything else going on?
It's full. As usual.
Sure.
We'll be bonded out soon.
I'll let it come right back. It's just a revolving, I have a revolving door up front.
Same ones, huh?
Over and over. Them and their kids.
The weather get nice, maybe they want to stay out. Not freaking hot.
Got all that done.
Yeah. All right. We'll follow up with you on that today.
Sit downstairs with Lori or something.
Sure. Us.
There, I mean, there's no way to
Yeah.
get to my office or anything, so everything's gonna be locked up.
All right. So Lori, how's it going?
Doing good. Just been dusty around here.
Was this the best? Y'all got any people that can help us keep that stuff swept and clean?
We have been, every day.
They
Mom,
keep
yes,
yesterday and came.
You kids out.
Did Tim, does anyone help down there painting? Does anyone help to paint that office down there, or did he say?
You know, he hasn't mentioned that.
I didn't.
But yeah, he needs somebody. Give him somebody. All right, guys.
Thank you. Sure. Send this to him, I just want to see a copy of it. So we can vote, I'm sure it'll be doing it. Their fee is $39,500. That includes the audit in Lee County. It also includes the circuit clerk's office, which I think is about $8,000.
Are we down just one auditor now?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why their fee's higher, but they'll be doing all of it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, now, sorry, clerk, this will be her last audit. I mean, it's just.
I think she has all every year.
yes,
Jody said this will go down next year.
yes. I think after, I'm just right, Jody said after, Schroeder said after this year, Schroeder, that the price should go down because of more able to provide. But yes, the circuit clerk has an audit down this year. They have to.
I thought maybe she did that because, you know, she just told about it, and she did that a year or two ago, didn't she?
So this includes their price, so we get her to reimburse us. Because now that you know, go back to general fund. Do you have any questions with this? It's pretty much a formality.
We need to sign one of these.
You'll have to sign up in multiple copies.
sign letters and pass them around.
Do that. I'll make a motion to accept this.
Second
And do roll call. Jason Bond,
Yes.
Gerald Childers,
Yeah.
Jeff.
that. Yes.
Didn't know,
Basically, we need to pass a resolution through IMRF stating that commissioners are going to work a minimum of 600 hours per year.
I've had to move to 1,000.
I think it's 600. We're going to put 600. It's different, we'll change. I think they said Jeff has to work 1,000.
I think that's what it was.
We're 1,200, twice as much. That's what I'm putting. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
So if I get a motion to pass this resolution.
I'll make it.
All right.
Second.
All
Not
right.
for me working well, honey.
That's what it's gonna say. Gerald 0, me 600, Jeff 1,200.
Gerald seconds that.
I think on this one here, this was one of the issue. Find out from Josh how he wants it worded, because he's gonna attach this to the letter. One more thing, the river drainage.
When was confused, well, we were confused. 2 of them, 3, or just one?
Just, that one gentleman is gonna get off of it,
Greg Horman,
down
Roy,
Georgia. Yes. And then he gave us 2 names so we can choose who we want.
So we went ahead and typed up both names. I mean, one for each.
So, I don't think they're both great guys.
Who are they?
Here they are. This here's the current board members. Mr. Georgia is, it's one of, let you know on, he's asking. Going to retire. Which other, those 2 names you 2 want to go with?
I've got one of mine, but who can take Gerald? Go ahead. Here's the current board members. This one right here is leaving. So I'll replace this gentleman here with one of these two. Who's your pick?
I know Burnett. And I don't know what. You know, that's Charlotte Ball.
That was my pick.
I'm good.
Which one was your pick, Jason?
Whoever, doesn't matter to me, they're both good to me.
Yeah.
So, you just make a motion who y'all want to go, so let's go forward. It don't matter to me.
Motion, Gerald.
I'll make a motion to appoint Daniel Burnett to the drainage board for 3 year term.
Yeah.
3 years, yeah.
All right,
I second.
sounds good.
I'm sure that.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that real well.
Cases in Paducah, but we're part of the Family Heritage Life Group, based out of Columbus, Ohio. Basically, we do supplemental insurance, and there's two ways really that we go about it. Municipalities sometimes are a little different than the businesses we work with. A lot of them would prefer to come out of their employees' payrolls. Most businesses we do a direct bank draft. It kind of solves the problem of having to go through human resources, payroll deductions, and so on. Of course, it's completely free to set up. We do all the legwork for you guys. No claims forms ever, since it's supplemental. They go directly to the company. So, no overhead for you guys at all. Basically, we would be asking for a place to talk to your employees, or to talk to all the staff members for the county. This is the county, correct, that we're talking about? Okay. I didn't get a lot of fill-in. I kind of caught wind of it late in the game. But what we do, we offer 5 different plans. We offer a cancer supplemental policy, a heart supplemental policy, injury, ICU, and a life policy. All of the above function kind of the same. We don't pay to the doctors, we pay directly to the individuals. So if anybody, say an employee comes down with diagnosis with cancer, we do certain things. We put a large deposit into their bank account to help them cover any deductibles and so on for their medical insurance. We help cover travel expenses because, of course, we don't have any large cancer centers directly in our area. Most people want to go to wherever they're treatment. We do hospital care. So anytime that they're in the hospital, they get a certain amount of money every day. Could you kind of give you guys an idea of what we do, just so that we can see it? These following pages, and you guys can pass this around, kind of go over what our payouts are under different plans, things like that. And it would be completely up to you all if you want to do a payroll deduction or just have them do an automatic bank draft. Like I said, we prefer the bank draft. They can take it with them. It's less work for you guys. But basically, we just offer benefits to cover for large life events, things that the medical coverage won't take care of. Of course, anytime that you have a major health event in your life, everything changes. You change the way you eat, you change how much travel you do, you can't work as much, or at least not in the same capacity that you once could. If it's a child, you're taking off work. Basically, we just help people get through some of the worst times in their life. And with the new medical laws that have hit books over the past few years, deductibles have been going up, expenses have been going up, coverage has fallen short, I think, of the goals that were originally set for the plans. And everybody's kind of feeling this. We help fill that gap. No lifetime limits on anything that we do. Any thoughts, questions?
We currently offer Aflac to employees and Liberty. What separates you from those two companies?
We do a return premium.
After 20 years.
After 25 years, yes, sir, we do a return premium. I think Liberty might do something like that. I don't think Aflac does a return premium at all. Basically, whatever you pay in, every penny goes back to you, less anything that we pay out.
Besides after being on the policy 25 years, what separates you from those two companies?
No lifetime limits, and our exclusions are less than a page long. We take, for example, our ICU policy. Our only exclusions are you cannot be in the process of committing any crimes. You cannot be under the influence of alcohol or drugs unless such drugs are prescribed by a doctor. Those are pretty much the limit of our exclusions for these plans. We can either cover people who have had cancer as long as they've been in remission for 10 years, or if it was internal cancer, we can cover them for skin cancer, basal cell carcinoma, things like that, vice versa. The only cancer that we cannot continue to offer coverage for if they've had it is a melanoma skin cancer, just because it hides in the body for so long. It's hard to tell if it's true remission. Same for heart. If they've had a heart attack or had heart problems, of course they can't be covered under our policy, but we can still offer them We don't, I've looked at Aflac's rules and their exclusions. They have pages and pages of exclusions. If you get a spider bite under their injury policy, you not get I don't want to downplay the company. It's a great company. That's why they're the most popular one in America. You know, they've had a great ad campaign that has helped, but they exclude a lot of people, and people pay for a lot of things that they expect out of the company and then don't receive. We don't do that to people.
How are your prices compared to Aflac or Liberty?
The most recent Aflac customer that I've had that switched over to us had two policies. They had a cancer and an accident policy. Through us, they paid $1.98 more to get our cancer, heart, and accident policies with an ICU record. So we offer more coverage for
How many years has the company been around?
this company has been around for 30 years. We're actually celebrating our 30th year in September. We are part of Torchmark, which has been around since the 1800s. We are top rated with AM Best for financial security, a A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, traded on the New York Stock Exchange under Torchmark, of course, TMK.
Well, I don't know, I mean, do you think there's any need for another one to talk? I mean, it's just hard to get employees to
Right.
want to talk, you know? I know we had issues with the last period. Or maybe, is it in the fall that we usually, is there a certain time of year that those two companies are talking to
It's
everybody?
in the spring.
Spring.
Just, well, early spring, late winter, it just passed.
I'll just pass the open enrollment.
It was March 1st.
You know, you can maybe come back and talk to us at the end of the year.
Mhm.
You know, maybe we can give you an option to talk to the employees.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just, I think two different companies have talked to them, and
You kind of browbeat them a little bit.
well, you know, I think those that are interested, it's probably talk to them, those that aren't, or just aren't interested.
Right, right.
Some
Right.
people just don't have interest in it.
I can
I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's just the way it works out.
Yeah, yeah. And open enrollment, especially for municipalities, tends to be better time to go and talk to them. It's hard to, like you said, pull them away from the desks.
Does your company offer anything like, a short-term disability for pregnancy or?
We don't offer a short-term disability. Pregnancy would be covered under our ICU policy for the mother and child, so long as it's already in place for, I think it's 10 months. Actually, in Illinois, I don't think there is an exclusion. So if the baby goes into the PQ or the NICU, or the mother has to go to ICU, or something happens with the heart, CCU, anything like that, that would be covered under our ICU policy. As far as a disability for like, to go along with FMLA, something like where they have to leave work, we don't offer anything like that. But we appreciate your time, and he's got your number. Sure. I will absolutely have him give you guys a call closer to the end of the year. Maybe we can set something up.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you all.
Good.